Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me, Dave Knight, for this week's podcast, which is number 70 in our weekly releases. A huge warm welcome to you all as we get straight into this 9 pm Sunday Settler, which is all about wrapping up Series 7 of our weekly podcast. And it just so happens that we seem to be wrapping up this year as well, 2020, which for many we'll be pleased to see the back of and sort of plan ahead for the year 2021. And I'd really like to take the opportunity, first of all, to wish you a great year ahead. And I sincerely hope it's full of all the things that you have in your minds for it to be. And for many, it's a time for new beginnings, isn't it? But is it really? Is it really a time for new beginnings? And let's chat more about that in the next 15 minutes or so. These weekly individual podcasts have been wrapped up into tailored bulletproof yourself wellbeing packages, which you can access via my website sundaysettler.com and clicking on the Bulletproof Yourself page. I have an annual Bulletproof Yourself wellbeing package, and from now for the month of January, there is a special coupon code, Bulletproof My Wellbeing 30, which will give you 30% off the annual package and gives you lifetime access to it also. It's an amazing deal, and I'd invite you to just go and check that out when you get a moment. This week's Sunday Settler is entitled Being You in 2021, and we'll be exploring the reasons for which we set ourselves New Year's resolutions, along with considering the meaning of them. What do those New Year's resolutions really mean? For many of us, we are setting our New Year's goals as a way of creating a new us. And whilst goals have many benefits, sometimes it's worth realising what we're doing to ourselves, if and when those life potholes occur. Not getting the result we want doesn't necessarily make us a failure or mean that we need to judge ourselves in the way that we might be doing when we don't get the results that we want to. And so whilst we talk about this for the next 15 minutes or so, I'd invite you to get yourself into your relaxing space for that period of time. So be you in 2021. That's my invite for you from now moving forwards. At the start of most years, we set ourselves goals, don't we? And I was always one of those people who set New Year's resolutions for the year ahead to earn X amount, or to exercise more, to lose weight, to see certain people more often, and to relax more. Possible similar things to you. And my personal opinion is that goals for ourselves are great, for our business or our performance or whatever it is. They're important, but they help to keep us focused, if nothing else. But that said, if our New Year's resolutions that we can consider, some examples might be to lose X amount of pounds or stone in weight, don't eat chocolate, cut out the alcohol, go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, to achieve that job promotion this year, save for the holiday, or just save money, full stop. If we think about those kind of New Year's resolutions, and these are different kinds of goals that I've just mentioned, and some are refrain from goals and some are aspirational kind of goals, aren't they? Nevertheless, many of us, and I include myself in that 100%, give ourselves new and pressured targets to meet, to get to achieve something because it's the turn of the year. But what is it about January? Why January? That's my question here. How is it different to, let's say, the 1st of May or the 1st of September? It seems it's much about having a new start, a new beginning, a new us, if you like. And it's great to approach a new year. I'm not disputing that. It's great to approach a new year with enthusiasm, renewed vigour and hope about the things that we're going to be working towards. It's amazing. But we also know that most New Year's resolutions don't last, and we generally go back to living the way that we were the previous year. And I certainly have done that. But the thing is, the year hasn't passed. That 1st of January date, if you like, is only one day, just one day after the previous year. It's only 1 week or so since the festive period, and it's only 1 month ago since the build up to the festive period. And that's all gone now. That's all gone though, and we're here right now. We have this moment, the present moment. We've got ourselves in this moment. So whether it is the beginning of January or the start of spring or the wind down of summer, we'll always have ourselves in this moment. And that is quite powerful to know, because over time, as we've explored the understanding of the 3 principles, mind, consciousness and thought, it can help us to understand where those goals, those New Year's resolutions are coming from. And with our intellect in play, we make sense of a lot of the things from the outside world, such as we should be detoxing our bodies. We should be believing the things that we're hearing or reading regarding what is important, expectations and so on. We believe that we should be having gym memberships. We should be going to the gym 4 times per week and start the year afresh. We should be cutting out this, we should be cutting out that. We should be losing weight now, and now we've overindulged over the festive period. We should be aspiring for things that we didn't aspire to last year. Experience tells me that it doesn't work like that, and there's something deeper at work here, much deeper at play. What if we're content in just making decisions that we're making for ourselves and know that they're the right decisions for us? What if we just know that opinions and expectations can influence our thinking? Okay, and we have the choice not to take things so seriously. What if we can listen and be guided by ourselves rather than those outside pressures, and know that we are creating our own experiences in relation to those outside factors, and it's not the other way around? So just some questions there for you to consider, and as it's our time, I'd like to invite you just for a moment to consider, where are our New Year's resolutions coming from? Where do you think they're really coming from? Do we really need to make a new us? Is that really the case? Do we really think that a new us starts at the beginning of January, and everything that was going on from the 31st of December and before in the outside world will stop? Do we think all of those things will disappear? Because with the outside world, I guess I was thinking of day-to-day things that occur, such as social drinks and invites, nights out, work deadlines, children getting sick, long days at work, car breaking down or having an argument with our partners. Those kind of things. These are all day-to-day things, aren't they, that I know from personal experience and also in working with clients, that those kind of things are seen to lead people to go back to old ways, if you like. Well, at least that's the way it looks anyway, isn't it? It really is. The thing is, it might look like there was an old us and we've magically created a new us. However, that hasn't happened. It really hasn't. But likewise, even though we may have behaved in a certain way previously when an outside event has taken place, it doesn't mean to say that we will always behave in the same way on the next occasion. Now, I'm not saying that going to the gym is not healthy and has many other benefits. I'm not saying for a second that drinking less alcohol has its benefits. I'm not saying that eating lots of junk food is good for us. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm certainly not saying that we shouldn't aspire to things and want to achieve those things, our desires. But it's more about if we're coming from a place of secure thinking as opposed to insecure thinking, then we'll just know that what we need to do to work towards any goal in the first place. Whether we decide to call this a New Year's resolution or a midlife goal or a pre-summer target. So it's not the gym and losing weight that will make us feel secure and better about ourselves. The saving of the money for our holidays or whatever else it might be. It's not the saving of the money that will make us feel safer, or the job promotion that will lead to less stress in our lives. That comes from within us in the moment. If I may, I'd like you to adjust yourself and just take a moment to find your comfortable space, and when you're ready, close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths and notice your chest rising and falling. Now I'd like you to imagine that you could have anything you wanted in the world. Anything at all. See, we don't necessarily need to create a new us. And that's because we are new in every moment. Each and every moment anyway. And please allow that to sink in for a few seconds. We are new in each and every moment anyway. And all we need to know is our next step and the next step after that, as we work towards those goals or New Year's resolutions that we've set ourselves. And in doing that, those steps that we're taking will allow us to feel like we are gliding more effortlessly towards those things. Moving forwards, progressing and achieving things that we never felt capable of achieving. And as life is, there will be those, let's say, hiccups, curveballs or potholes that we come across along the way. It's inevitable. As they happen, we're in danger of those resolutions that we've set ourselves not going to plan, getting in the way. The month-long alcohol detox, the losing weight, keeping up with the gym appearances. So what? So what? How and why would that matter if we don't achieve those things? How and why would that matter? To who does that matter? Are they your rules or someone else's rules? Do we think that everything ends on the date that we've set ourselves to achieve this thing? Does everything end then? Why do we think that? You see, it doesn't work like that. Not to mention the judging of ourselves or being judged by rules or the parameters that have been set for us that are essentially made up. They're not real. Only real in the self-created reality that we have made for ourselves. And perhaps a healthy way of judging ourselves is against the things that we are doing, as opposed to the things that we're not doing. Perhaps that's a healthy way. That way, if those hiccups do occur, we may have already achieved 2 weeks of our intended 4-week goal, being to the gym on less occasions, or even managed to get out of bed on 4 out of 7 days rather than none. That's a good measurement. Our results may not have been the results that we've set ourselves. However, we still haven't failed. We still haven't lost. We're still in the game, and we are the ones that can choose to believe whether we are still in the game or not. We're new now. We're new now. We do not need to create a new version of us. Trust ourselves and accept ourselves for who we are, and have confidence that we are still in the game. We were never out of it in the first place. Again, taking some deep breaths. Notice your chest rising and falling. Again, I'd really like to wish you a great year ahead. Enjoy the year ahead. And by the way, I mean that from the date when you're listening to this. Whatever happens, just be you. In this podcast, we've discussed the implications of New Year's resolutions, and whilst there are many benefits to helping keep us focused, resolutions, which similar to midlife goals or pre-summer targets, are not the be-all and end-all, as we've discussed. And judging ourselves against resolutions that are essentially made up can be excruciatingly painful, frustrating, and lead to a lot of heartache if we don't achieve them. And yet we're very likely to still have achieved things that we don't give ourselves credit for. We don't need to do that to ourselves. It's unnecessary. It really is. Measuring ourselves against what we are doing is a much more positive, empowering, and optimistic approach. And as long as we stay in the game, in the moment, we were always able to keep moving forward despite the potholes that come our way. We just need to stay in the game, and even if our initial results aren't what we wanted. But I appreciate you listening to this podcast, and if it has been of interest or useful to you in any way, as always, I would value you sharing and liking across your platforms, or suggesting for someone else to have listened to them as well. And if you're feeling a little lost or stuck at the moment, and feel as though you would benefit from an initial call with someone regarding a challenge in your life, call me and we can take it from there. If you quote "being you in 2021," you'll receive a 20-minute free intake call, 10% off your first full session with me, and availability over the telephone for an additional 15 minutes just to clarify anything that we've discussed in our conversations. But we'll be replaying this podcast next week also, and then taking a break between series before we then kick off with Series 8. And wow, Series 8, how have we got to here? But in the meantime, I sincerely wish you a great week ahead, a great year ahead, and look forward to speaking with you next week again. Bye for now.